Alright, we're going to work on a SOA composite that can do multi-level approvals. So it's based off of an Oracle one I found, and when I tried going through it, it didn't quite work. Had a few problems. One, I had to apply a lot of patches to OIM, so I mentioned that here, not the actual patch numbers, but you can find them easy enough. And this is essentially what the approval is set up to do. So it's going to run the requesters chain, the requesters management chain for 2 levels. This is going to be done serially, and then it'll do the role approval. So each role has an approver assigned, and each organization can have an administrator. So it's going down 2 trails here. So these approvals can be carried on at the same time as these are, and it's set up so that if anything is rejected, the whole thing is rejected. That's the default. Okay, now they have it here set up, some finance administrators and business analyst approvers. Let's see, I already have a system set up with users, so I didn't use these exact names, but pretty much did everything else. You're also going to have to create a UDF in the role table. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, their code was using CSF, but only for the XCL SysADM user ID and password. Oddly enough, they weren't using it for the URL, so I changed their code so that it would also do the URL, and we describe here how to add that to the out-of-the-box CSF map. Okay, all right, so we're going to use JDeveloper with the SOA builder installed. We're using, let's see, 11.1.1.9 SOA to build the composite. This is what it looks like after it's complete. We're just going to go over the steps here. Okay, so in PS3 they don't really have the concept of request level and operational level approval anymore. It's kind of the it's more in how you set up the composite and the rules that you use to get it to drive the workflow. And again, we'll see that at the end of this. But here's an example of how it would work. Since it's the management chain, so the user they're using in the example that you set up, Brad Chase, is his manager, and Jerry S. Benson is Brad Chase's manager. So when the user makes the request, Brad Chase is going to get the first approval, and because business analyst approvers, this person has the approver's role for this role, he's going to get an approval also. So these will be at the same time, and then it'll wait until it for this one, and this one will wait for that one. So when this one completes, Jerry will get Jerry will be the one being notified about the next approval. He'll approve it. When Edwin Poole approves it, then Danny Crane will be left as the finance administrator. Now this, we didn't set up a finance administrator for the organization for this resource. So basically what's going to happen is it's going to default to the XCL SysADM. You can create an administrator for an org and mess around with that if you like. Okay, so here again they talk about the operational level approval. That's going to be auto approved, so again it really wouldn't matter in our scenario here. So here are the steps we're going to do. We're going to create the composite. We're going to create the composite that OIM gives you as an out-of-the-box example to start with. We're going to load it in the JDeveloper, and we're going to code it up the customizations from the out-of-the-box one, and then deploy it. I didn't have to register. I think that's a layover. Creating an approval policy, we didn't have to do that because we're now using the workflow rules. So actually I think I'll just get rid of these. Testing of a custom approval process, yes, we definitely have to do that. So let's get rid of these, and this one should become 4, I think. Yep. Okay. I'll take you through steps of the detail. Okay, so here's how we create the SOA composite. You basically go into OIM, you set up ANT by doing this. So you can use source command or just a dot, and then you go in and run the Ant script they have that'll build a starting composite for you, and here they use the names that they want you to have, and that's what we used when we built it too. So that'll be the same. Go back to here. Yep, okay, so once you get the composite, then you can unzip it and bring it over to your local machine where you can open it up with JDeveloper. Okay, you'll have the out-of-the-box one, and then this is going to walk you through the steps to create the variables that we're going to need and assign them to the actual approval process. Okay, so here's where you set them up. It's pretty explanatory where you can do it. We can take a look if you like. I think it's in here and here, and then this plus sign here, and that shows all the variables, and here's where we add